Jahdae Barron that's a good combine for him.
It's a very good, especially after the show the size he needed to run fast.
Yes.
And him running fast only followed what you saw on tape.
I'm doing the Jeff thing where 11 teams certainly wouldn't pick Abdul Carter.
Oh, Abdul Carter's getting picked 12th.
Yeah. And then Jahdae Barron's going 44.
Yeah, Abdul Carter he's got a foot gas mask situation happening right now. His foot's in a gas mask. His little stress reaction.
It's typical of the Cowboys.
He's gearing up to be an actual
falls to the Cowboys and he turns into
a club foot.
Yes,
you have to cut it off.
Jalen Smith
turns into Jalen Smith.
So Abdul Carter, the projected, who knows, number 1, number 2, number 3 overall pick, depending on quarterbacks and Travis Hunter. Last week it was reported he had a stress reaction in his foot, and I was talking to our buddy Brian Broaddus this morning, who was reading a text from somebody in the NFL, and he was like, you can see the lines in there where it's like, it's not good. That reaction is leading to something. So he may need a screw in his foot. He may need surgery. You hate when big guys have foot things. And so I need that to be the gas mask that gets him to 12.
It could.
Feet matter.
Feet matter.
Feet matter.
More ways than one.
You need feet.
Just talking about what happened at the combine. Certainly, you got the rumors regarding Abdul Carter. Who are your biggest risers? I mean, you saw. I mean, obviously, since I'm going to keep my own agenda.
I mean, I think
Matthew Golden from Texas.
So Matthew Golden at Texas, I think, running the fastest 40 for any wide receiver at the combine, 4.29, which is probably the second fastest 40 overall. Mm-hmm. Was anybody else faster than that other than Hairston? Did he get corrected to 4.3 or was he 4.28?
I thought he was 4.3. Am I true?
No, 4.29 was the fastest.
Okay,
I think Golden was the fastest.
He was the fastest at the combine.
Of his 4.29, they made it a 4.28, and then the official must have been a 4.3. But no, Matthew Golden, the Texas receiver, what he ran is awesome. Like, he's not slow on tape. But I wasn't watching him on tape like that's the fastest receiver in the country. And so I think that says a couple of good things about him. Number one is that, you can't lie on running the 40. He ran a 4.29.
Right.
And I think number two is it kind of fits in a mold that I've created in my own head, knowing nothing about him. But I started watching Texas receivers because coming into the season, Isaiah Bond was considered a premier prospect.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And as I'm watching Isaiah Bond tape, in my notes, I'm like, check number 2.
You were on this early.
Check on number 2.
Right.
Who is number 2? And Matthew Golden wears number 2. And so then I go look up the Texas football stats because I don't watch it like that during the season. Like, I'll watch the games, but I'm hanging out and drinking and I'm waiting for the draft. And then so I'd go look it up and I'm like, it's their number 1 receiver and he's draft eligible. Why have we not heard this guy's name? He's the best receiver on the team. That's weird. But then to go outrun every receiver and the 2 guys on your own football team who were out there publicly saying, I'm going to run a 4.1, I'm going to run a 4.2, Isaiah Bond and Jaden Blue, and to quietly go be the fastest one. I just, in my mind, it says a lot about him that real G's do move in silence, like lasagna.
Real Matthew Goldens.
And to just let other people talk about whatever you want to talk about. Y'all can talk about Isaiah Bond all year. I'll be the number 1 receiver. You guys can talk about how fast you're going to run. I'll go faster.
Yep.
I think all of that is really good for him. And I don't think it's impossible that he's the first receiver drafted.
Yeah.
I don't think it's impossible.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that after the combine because his tape is a tape, but then to run the 4.29, it opened a lot of people's eyes.
And you don't want to put too much into a combine. The tape is more important than the combine.
No.
Now, if a guy does all of his testing and he does everything and he tests as a guy that's not an NFL athlete, that's a problem.
Right.
But the guys who test okay, good, great, if you have great tape and solid testing, I'll take that all day over average tape and the best athlete ever.
No doubt.
All day. Because there's a guy that tested as like the best athlete at corner ever. His name is Darian Porter at Iowa State.
Go Cyclones.
He was a 6-year player. He became a starter in his 6th year. And even in that year, he was a rotational player. Like, they were moving guys in and out. I'm watching tape like, is he hurt this game? Is he suspended? And the answer was no. He's just not even a full-time player.
Yeah.
And there is talk. I saw a mock draft this morning where he goes in the first round. Because he's 6'3", he ran a 4.3. His jumps and his shuttles were elite. So, like, he's just an elite athlete that's 6'3" that lines up at corner. And his tape says, pick me in the 7th round. And somebody might take him way before that and try to be a hero. I wouldn't. Don't overvalue the combine.
So I'm doing this new thing where I refer to certain prospects as arrested development players because, you know, the meme in arrested development where I go, hey, it didn't work for them, but it could work for us.
Oh, that is so football coach?
Yeah, and it could work for us. And I think that there's a couple guys that now fit that. Porter is a good example from Iowa State, right? It's like, hey, production didn't really show up, but maybe we can turn into. Shamar Stewart's another one. Hey, at A&M, he didn't really have the production, but my God, that's Myles Garrett 2.0. If you just look at him, let me get him and turn him into it. The other one for me that is going to rise, I think, and it kind of I'm putting the question about, frankly, how good he is, and I think he can go before 12, is Armand Membu from Missouri. I think that's a guy that tested extremely well. You look at the measurables, oh my God, it's Trent Williams 2.0. But as we've talked about off show and on show, I don't see what other people might be seeing. He's been kind of hyped up for a while as a guy that, hey, this guy could be a top 10 pick. People are talking now, he potentially could be the top offensive lineman taken now after that work.
Because of the running. But the tape doesn't fit.
Exactly.
But just getting back to the Cowboys at 12, I mean, right now, you could have that your guy from Missouri, Will Campbell, Josh Simmons, the Texas guard, our tackle
Banks,
Ted McMillan, Turley Golden, Campbell. I mean Johnson, the corner. Where do you go?
You pick whoever your team has decided is the best player. Whoever is ranked as the best player. You don't go by need. You go by best player, especially if the best player is at a valuable position. I might feel best right now about the offensive line guys. I think all of the offensive line, for the most part, the top guys, had a good combine. Like the LSU tackle Campbell, he had one thing that wasn't ideal at the combine, which is his arms are less than 33 inches long.
Right.
The tackle, you'd love for it to be 34. That's one of the thresholds at some NFL teams. When you say this guy's arms aren't 34 inches long, teams start talking about, all right, tell me about him at guard. We're going to start moving people.
Could it be your Zach Martin replacement?
And Campbell, but he tested great. Athletically, he tested great. So I think he had a good combine. He's just arms. He's not the ideal tackle prospect to some teams. Kelvin Banks, some people thought he was going to be 6'2", 6'3", the Texas left tackle. He's 6'5". That was big for him. And his athletic testing was solid.
Yeah.
The other top offensive linemen,
Josh Simmons got the medical eval, was good.
Josh Simmons is Ohio State's left tackle, who I think probably has the best left tackle tape in the class and is a no-doubt tackle. You're not going to talk about playing guard. He's a no-doubt left tackle. His knee injury, I haven't seen it officially reported, but it was a patella. And that's a big one. It's bigger than tearing your ACL. But the reports from the combine that came out are positive and that he would be ready to play football. If that's true, I think he's a great pick at 12.
Yeah.
If you feel really good about his knee, I think he's a great pick. But are the Cowboys open to taking a guy who is a left tackle, or would they be more likely to take a guy who might have played tackle but is going to be a right guard and give Guyton another year?
Right.
That's the sort of stuff that I think for the team matters. I would take a good left tackle prospect, I'd take that in a heartbeat over feeling better about your right guard. And then we can figure out last year's first round pick.
And the Cowboys are trying to feel good about Guyton. They say he's in the weight room. He's already working, and they want to feel good about him. They think he can take the jump or whatever else, but they will cover themselves. I mean, you can't,
But they're going to cover themselves with a Chuma type, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe they cover themselves in the draft, but they will cover themselves. One thing that I did hear that's on your agenda, they're not taking a tight end in the first round.
That's the
Cowards.
That was my agenda.
Especially when you got
Tyler
Terrence
Warren.
Ferguson.
There won't be
in
no
round
Tyler
3.
Warren. They won't. I mean, I think he may be good. Most mock drafts haven't gone before the Cowboys pick anyway. But they won't take Tyler Warren. They won't take a tight end in the first round.
All the big name running backs tested well too. Omarion Hampton had an incredible day.
And I talked to his position coach.
I saw that.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
The Ohio State running backs both had a great day. For Quinshawn Judkins, who's the bigger one, to run sub 4.5 was great for him.
He's explosive, man.
Yeah, I think all of the big name running back. Well, Caleb Johnson ran a 4.57 or whatever. I don't care. Running back 40 times unless you're running a 5 flat. It's not that important because you don't have a direct opponent, and he's not a breakaway home run hitter anyway. It's already on the tape. So there's your combine, and we can do more combine. And if you have questions or thoughts about the Cowboys at 12, fire them in the chat. Super chat real quick, Max. In my mind, it doesn't matter who you draft on offense. Dak will make them better, in my opinion. Raheem Rocket Sanders was my biggest riser. # Jihad Campbell at 12. Yeah, those were two good guys at the combine.
Love me some Rocket Sanders.
Love me some Jihad Campbell because I want Jerry to have to say Jihad all the time.
We all silly like the mayor.